Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living right here in beautiful Fullerton, California. My name is Tomoko Rosas and I'm a practitioner at the Spiritual Center. Please join me in stating our purpose statement. We are a loving spiritual community empowering all to live healthy and successful lives through practicing the principles of science of mind. Thank you all so much for joining us on this beautiful New Year's Day. It only happens every 7 years, so this is a very lucky day. And also, everybody, thank you for joining us online. And I have a few announcements before we get started. Let's see. Happy New Year, and knowing and accepting that this is the best year ever for everyone here and everyone watching. We have Reverend John Odden here with us today and next Sunday as Reverend Bill and Bev take their well-deserved vacation and they send their love from Astoria, Oregon. Looking for a slogan for 2023. I have quite a few entries that came in this week. So let me just go over it for the purpose of, letting the people online hear this as well. So our lives are carefree in 2023. Drama-free in 2023. Life is good and carefree in 2023. I let God express through me in 2023. Life is lovely in 2023. I become who I was always meant to be in 2023. Free to be me in 2023. God works through me in 2023. It is meant to be in 2023. Quite a few good ones, right? Mm-hmm. Spirit frees me in 2023. Grow like a tree in 2023. What kind of tree? All is well for you and me in 2023. And those are the entries so far, getting your creative juices flowing. So please suggest some good ones, and we'll be voting on it on the 15th of January. Let's see, 2 accredited classes coming up, Spiritual Economics on Sundays and Exploring the Roots class on Wednesday evenings. So if you're interested, please come see me or look at the details in the program and let me know if you're interested or just sign up. Calling all voting members, our annual meeting and potluck will be on the 22nd of this month. So please call the office or see me if you have any questions regarding your membership status. Our Unexpected Income Club is going really strong. It's so wonderful. Our goal for 2023 is to reach $25,000 by the end of the year. So please look for those unexpected income daily and prosper with us. All right, that's it for the announcements.
To be still, let God love me. I need to be still, let God love me. When this whole world starts to push and shove me, need to be still and let God love me.
So as we come together on this glorious New Year's Day, please join me in knowing that God is all there is. God is the infinite intelligence, divine love, one power, one presence, one life. We live, move, and have our being in this one life. We are inseparable and integral to the oneness of all. This is the truth of our being. And from this place of oneness, I bless this morning's service, knowing that it is already perfect, full of inspiration, messages of love, peace, harmony, and truth. I bless our congregation and visitors gathered here physically and joining us from home online. I bless all the wonderful volunteers and staff that made this service possible, all expressing divine love beautifully through service. And a special blessing for our guest minister, Reverend John Odden, knowing that his message is uplifting, divinely inspired, and exactly what we came to hear today. With this, I declare the service good and very good, and so it is. And this morning's inspirational reading comes from a friend of mine's Christmas card insert. I go into a whole week of decluttering. It's a tradition of Japanese people, Shinto, and my family tradition to go into just a whole week of cleaning and decluttering before the New Year's. You sweep out the old and bring in the new. So today I'm not supposed to be doing any work whatsoever. And I don't consider this work at all. So here we go. And this came from a Christmas card a dear friend of mine that sent to me a long time ago, and he's passed on since then. And it's a little cute, funny one. 15 things that took me over 50 years to learn. And it's written by Dave Barry, nationally syndicated columnist. I think some of you are familiar. Number 1, never under any circumstances take a sleeping pill and a laxative the same night. Number 2, okay, get that over with. Number 2, if you have to identify in one word the reason why the human race has not achieved and never will achieve its full potential, that word would be meetings. Reminder, next week we have a board meeting. Number 3, there is a very fine line between hobby and mental illness. That one I had to really think about that. Number 4, people who want to share their religious views with you almost never want you to share yours with them. We all know that one, right? And number 5, you should not confuse your career with your life. Number 6, nobody cares if you can't dance well. Just get up and dance. This one is very important. Number 7, never lick a steak knife. Okay. Number 8, the most destructive force in the universe is gossip. We know this really well here. Number 9, you will never find anybody who can give you a clear and compelling reason why we observe daylight savings time. Number 10, you should never say anything to a woman that even remotely suggests that you think she's pregnant, unless you can see an actual baby emerging from her at that moment. Wise, very wise. Number 11, there comes a time when you should stop expecting other people to make a big deal about your birthday. And that time is age 11. Number 12, the one thing that unites all human beings, regardless of age, gender, religion, economic status, or ethnic background, is that deep inside, we all believe that we are above average drivers. Number 13, a person who is nice to you but rude to a waiter is not a nice person. This is very important. Pay attention. It never fails. Number 14, your friends love you anyway. Number 15, last but not least, never be afraid to try something new. Remember that a lone amateur built the Ark. A large group of professionals built the Titanic. So please join me in prayer written by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker. I let life move me forward into greater good. There are no anchors in my world to fasten me to any one situation forever. I accept the ever-changing, ever-unfolding action of God in my experience. I have faith that life impels me into greater good for myself and for all who comprise my world. I appreciate the past, but it cannot bind me to any person, place, nor thing. It is now a neutralized memory of good, and its knowledge is available to me, but its negative power is gone. No more weeping for what might have been. Today is the day of glory, and tomorrow is alive with the possibilities of creative self-expression. So I accept this for all of us here and know this to be already done. I give thanks and let it be. And so it is.
Bring it on, everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for the next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm not crying, I'm not waiting, I'm not hoping against all hope. I'm not longing for something gone that'll never return. I think I finally learned. Bring it on, everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I know it's gonna be everything new.
Please join me to welcome Reverend John Odden. So we're so lucky to have him here today. Welcome.
Happy New Year, Center for Spiritual Living, Fullerton. I am Reverend John, as Tomoko said, and it's so great to be here today as we have turned it over, and today is the start of the new year. And especially, wow, thank you, Tommy. What a beautiful, heart-lifting way to get us launched in music. And Tomoko, the reading, the introduction is just divine and wonderful. So as we stand here, and it is 2023, it's a new year, and we're a New Thought community. I don't know, these things come to me. I thought I would start the year and I would speak about, well, where did I leave that new thought? Like, have you ever had a thought that you felt was something good and divine and inspired, and then you're going along, like, where is it? What happened to it? And it came to me that some of the things that have passed by in my life are almost kind of like snow globes on a shelf. I can go back, I can discover them, shake them up, and they glitter, and I can remember something beautiful, but they're just sort of there, they're not here. And some of the things that pass by like that are actually pretty good. So I thought I would spend a little time and look for some ancient wisdom and share some thoughts about what is the response or antidote to the possibility that some really wonderful spiritual gift would slip away. Because certainly to the extent that we live in a divine field and we are the possible recipients of spiritual gifts, the last thing I want to do is have my gift be returned to sender, or lost, or misused. And also, as I was doing that, I'll get to it a little bit later, I'll share with you something I found in the Science of Mind textbook Ernest Holmes' remedy for hangover. Really, he has a treatment for headache, and I'm going to share that because it's also on point to what I'm going to share with you today with my few thoughts. And indeed, to me, it seems it's part of that whole principle of how can we as humans, aware of our spiritual nature, choose to live to get the benefit of our entire heritage. So I'm going to, a couple times, visit a few little examples of things that trotted by in my life, and at the time, I don't know if I knew them or not. Like some I knew, and some just sort of slipped by, that never really flourished or took root. And as I do that, I'll encourage you, whether you're here live or whether you're streaming, to think about how to engage your own review of your spiritual heritage and your potential as a human right now, constantly, to say yes to that. Live stronger, live better, live in ways that in 2022 might have not even seemed possible. Like, how about relationships that did not happen? I discovered, happenstance, I had something like that when I was in junior high. Something that just floated by. Or what about a really creative project that was kind of right there, the resources were available, but it never happened. And I remembered as I was thinking about this, I had a professor that invited me once when I was not in any way, shape, or form ready for it. Hey, would you like to write a PhD on my team? And I was just oblivious to that. And I checked out what happened to him after I passed that one by. As well as, how about a well-conceived plan? I was working in the business world, and I had a plan to do something to make prices fair so that people could afford what they needed, food, health care. And actually had things teed up, and then the world was rumbling, and there were distractions, and that never went anywhere. And it probably would have helped. I don't know that I'll go back and do it today, but it's apparent to me that as I reflect back on the potential that I truly am a spiritual creation and that my life is in and with a powerful, wise, divine, loving spirit, that truly the resources that are here and have been here for me always, it's almost like they're greater than I could have used, and part of it might be that living that life of my heart's aspiration is a little bit more just being aware and saying yes. Could it be as simple as that? So we'll share a little bit of ancient wisdom and some thoughts, and we can talk afterwards. And if this comes to you, I'll just second Tomoko's comment that you're blessed here at CSL Fullerton to have some excellent classes with an excellent teacher. And the classes aren't so much to put a certificate on the wall or a snow globe on your credenza. It's about exposing yourself to the dynamics and the potential, about how this stuff in us and around us works. Because it's real, and sometimes that little bit of exploration, that little bit of reminder can set the stage for different, for better. So, again, what are those best new thoughts? Are they snow globes on the shelf? I think it's more like, think of it as the ocean, and those new thoughts are like the white caps surging with that immense dynamic power flowing. And that the way to imagine ourselves a little bit differently in the new year is that we're creatures of flow. We're not static. And sure, I dress a certain way and I look in the mirror and I recognize myself. But all of us have that divine infinite potential. The power of the same spirit that makes everyone and everything. It's ours, it's now, always. Anyhow, whether you are watching time delayed because you were that much impacted by your New Year's Eve celebration, or whether you're here now, how about what I propose is Ernest Holmes' cure for the hangover? What's this treatment? There is neither congestion nor confusion in spirit, and these people are spiritual. There is neither ache nor pain in the consciousness of God as it flows through people. All ideas are assimilated, find perfect expression in joy through the all-giving source which cannot be congested, retarded, nor strained. Ideas are comprehended fully and completely. Their spiritual significance is assimilated, and there is no strain as they pass into self-expression. The flow of life force in the brain centers is always unretarded, sufficient, and sustained. How about that? The flow of life force. That's what we all are. It's convenient for us to look at each other, and I can say, oh, I recognize Tommy, I recognize Tomoko, Joan, I recognize different people. And we kind of put people in that bundle. But each of us is a flow of infinite life force. And I would just encourage you to remember that the habit of looking at someone and thinking, got it, that's all that person is and can do. No. We're not in a box. You can't put people on a shelf like that, because all of us have that potential to drink in our spiritual heritage, take a choice, take a step, and do magnificent. So let's go back then, and in a world where we do have flashes of beauty and inspiration, consider this process of how we embrace the goodness, the potential of ourselves and the spirit around us and through us, especially at the cusp of the new year. I went back for other ancient wisdom looking in the Bible, and I found some words of the great teacher Jesus in the book of John, the Gospel of John. And it continues to amaze me. And maybe it was because Jesus Christ was not afflicted with science. Right? If you wanted a scientist back in the era when the wise men found the baby, the infant, at Christmas, a scientist might have been more like a philosopher. It wasn't like you had all these different kinds of scientists and all these scientific devices that wanted to be in your pocket or on your wrist. You didn't have to speak in a landscape with all of that. And so just listen to how concise Jesus could be in chapter 3, verse 38. He that believeth on me, as the scripture hath said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. Rivers of living water. So we're in an environment where our technology will pop up and say, pay attention to me. And I think that's the danger of the modern time. There's so much that says, pay attention to me. And yet for those who live in spirit, it's out of us like a flowing river of living water. That, my friends, I believe is the opportunity, the potential, the heritage that we bring to each moment. So again, thinking about this, if I've got this awareness of new thought and there's things popping, I want to take care to not put them aside, not treat them like that snow globe and there they go onto the shelf. How do I understand it as a flow where I can dive in, energize it, live with it, explore it? And if it's a gift for me, harvest it. What would that be like? Now, I go back to myself and think of my examples. I can look back to junior high when I thought I was the unpopular kid, the geeky guy who was attending the science classes and worried about calculus and stuff like that. And that's how I thought I was. And then as I was clearing out some stuff years later, I looked at a yearbook from the junior high. And I found, you had to sign everyone's yearbook, and I would sign my name. They gave the instruction, and I was really creative, John. And I found a note from this Linda that I recalled from English class, who wore glasses like a librarian. Shows my level of paying attention and grasping the essence of people. And from the note, it occurred to me that if I had all had a social awareness or instinct, there might have been something to explore there, to uncover and have rapport with another person. And yet for years, my self-story about that time was, I was the unpopular guy. And yet there was proof that spirit was around me reaching out. and saying, there's opportunities, pay attention. You really don't necessarily know. Or when I was just out of college, I was taking some classes and I offered to help out as a teaching assistant for a course on a topic I thought I knew something about. And the professor had a couple of times said to me, maybe you'd like to do a PhD. And I was wondering, like, why can't they get people to do PhDs? You know, I'm barely like qualified. I'm not sure I want to go to graduate school. And here the person is saying, no, I can help you. You can do well. And I'm looking at this and I couldn't figure it out. So there, he had my attention. I was listening. So I go back and I look and, well, what did this guy do? What were his gifts and talents? And I'll tell you that before I did that, even before I went to college, I had one of the professors who was the chair of one of the departments at a local university tutoring me. I thought I needed help. He was willing to tutor me, and so I was grateful for the help, but I didn't really step back and ask, what does this say about me and the world I'm in and what's possible? I was not into possibility thinking as a younger person. And I think it's all about possibility thinking, because then we're aware that there's this spiritual soup out of which we coalesce and interact and have our life, and the world's a different place. Anyhow, so I checked this guy out, and he went on, he became department chair himself, became dean, and then president of a number of universities. And it occurred to me, like from what I've learned since about business and having sponsors, he could have been a pretty good sponsor. If my eyes, my heart, and my brain had been at all open. And, not that I'm saying you've missed anything, but that when something comes by, and there's an offer or an invitation, it could be an educational point, like, no, I don't want to invest with those people in Bermuda and the crypto stuff. It could be like that, where it's something where there's a knock on the door, and it's an informed decision to say, pass, not this one. And then other times, it's a gem of delight and a world of possibility. And the point to me about the classwork and meditation is having a heart that's tuned and open to give possibility the chance. And to me, that's the theme of the new year, is can we indeed give the possibility for spiritual wonder to be born in our lives. Or even fair pricing. I had a class from an economics professor. It was strange. I went to a college where you could take an economics class, and that could be part of your humanities elective that you needed to graduate. Okay, they use math and economics. I can survive this kind of humanities. And the professor was talking about problems of markets and prices and allocation, and I was paying attention a little bit. And then later on, I looked at how in an area I was working in healthcare, where you had people who couldn't afford what they needed, was looking at, could you do this kind of flexible pricing so that enough money could go to the hospital to take care of the people, and people could pay without the people with no insurance paying the highest price. And you kind of look at the headlines about healthcare and you realize. Anyhow, so I took some stuff from the professor and I went out and I had even a couple of big companies that were respectable and understood saying, if you'll go this way, we will help you. And then I didn't have my own affairs in order in the little company that I formed to do it. And that thing just kind of, the wheels fell off on the launch pad, and we never really made that start. And the world didn't tip that way, it tipped a different way. But the same concepts that the professor was teaching in my class, one of his colleagues at another university got a Nobel Prize. Were they onto something or what? And for his case, he did not get the Nobel Prize. But then the federal government used his approach to create the auctioning of the wireless spectrum so that the phone can ring wherever you are. They had the 3G auction, billions of dollars brought into the government, the 4G, the 5G. And it was all off of economic concept. If you've got a lot of stuff and you don't know how to price it, what do you do to solve the problem? So there's all kinds of things out there that represent ideas and possibilities that if you can breathe life into them and turn the crank, can become wonder and miracles. And the only way to know that is to start the flow and dive in. Don't get stuck in the mode of looking at 2022 and counting the snow globes on the shelf, January. February through December. A snow globe on the shelf. You know, it's worth a few good memory moments, but that's something you can only enjoy from, what, being stalled or going slow. Consider living a little bit faster, living in divine time, and saying yes to these spiritual invitations. As I look at my perspective on life now, serving as an ordained minister is not books on a shelf and a certificate. You dive in and you swim hard, and a lot of amazing stuff happens. It's about living in the flow, or the opportunity to have my relationship with my wife Joan, and to meet with friends and family, and to have the red dirt all over our car from driving off the road in southern Utah. I'm enthusiastic. Sorry about banging the podium there. In case the offline people hear this crunching noise. You know, it's about getting out there and living it face-to-face, first person. I'm working on a focus ministry for spiritual care to get out there, and you think you're going to go and you start, and you can't imagine until you get in the flow and start doing it. And then it all becomes possible. So let's wind up drawing back to another thought about Ernest Holmes and his talking about what was then a scientific view of how we're all created fresh constantly. And if you look at the recent breakthroughs in science, whether it's quantum science or the telescope that looks back to the creation of the universe, it's consistent with that. Science of mind, religious science, it's consistent with that, and that's why I believe it's durable. On page 373 and 4. We say that body is composed of matter, but what is matter? Science tells us that matter is an aggregation of small particles arranged in some kind of form. We are also told that matter is in a continuous state of flow. Strange as it may seem, we do not have the same physical bodies that we had a few months ago. They have completely changed. New particles have taken the place of old, and the only reason they have taken the same form is that something within has provided the same mold. Our bodies are like a river forever flowing. The indwelling spirit alone maintains the identity. So what about that? The cells and all are getting regenerated, the DNA and everything provides guidance. Our thoughts and prayers and focus and our discipline give it shape and acceleration. And spirit is the custodian of our identity. So we never need to be afraid of jumping into a new thing and losing ourselves, because the only way spirit gets to show up is through each of us. Without us, spirit has no seat at the table, no ticket to the contest, no ability to join the show and participate. So this year, let's embrace the flow. Make that an affirmation. Embrace the flow. Live it big, live it long, and always. Be that identity of the spirit that creates constantly a new you, open to health, prosperity, relationships, adventures. And just join me in this moment as we pray that truly our hearts are open to divine principle, that the Spirit knocks on the door in the new year, answering our prayers, that our hearts are right to say yes, and that as we step forward as Center for Spiritual Living Fullerton and as family and community members, that we shine the light of being powered by Spirit, for that goodness and wisdom answers all prayers, heals all needs, and brings us whole and vibrant together, and so it is.
Thank you so much, Reverend John. It's exactly what we came here to hear today, isn't it? Yes, thank you so much. This is our opportunity to share our abundance. We know that all our good comes from the one source, God. And for this, we are grateful. So we bless these tithes, gifts, and offering, knowing that it is given from the central core of who we are. God may manifest on this universe. And we send them forward with no strings and no attachment, no condition to do its works in the world and beyond. And so it is.
When I'm with you, doesn't matter where we are or what we're doing. I'm with you, that's all that matters. Time has as much to reveal when we're together laughing. Wanna sing it to you. Oh, I think I'll sing it to you. Whoa, 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 whoa. Sometimes silence. And when I feel them, try to decide which one I should try to put it into words. Oh, I'm gonna put it into words, yeah. Whoa, 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 and sometimes silent, silent, la 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 It's only the beginning. What I want to feel forever. It's only the beginning. What I want to feel from the start. Yeah, it's only the beginning. 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 It's only the beginning.
Party continued from last night to this morning. All right, I'm going to ask everyone to stand and do our closing affirmation. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It's happening in my mind.
It's happening in my mind.
It's happening in my body.
It's happening in my body.
It's happening in my affairs.
It's happening in my affairs.
I think it.
I think it.
I feel it.
I feel it.
I see it.
I see it.
I believe it.
I believe it.
I know it.
I know it.
I accept it.
I